Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your October 2016 mid-month readings. I am using the Gilded Tarot deck by artist Ciro Marchetti, and even though we're focusing more on the last half of the month than the month in its entirety, I'm still going to be using the same 8-card spread with an additional 9th card from the bottom of the deck representing your overall energy and advice for the reading. That's my kitten, Pyewacket, behind me on the bed. So hopefully he'll stay. He's kind of a half-grown kitten, and sometimes he acts quite unpredictably. So hopefully he will let us continue the reading without interruption. I don't usually have him in here when I'm recording because he's video bombed videos before. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, as we always say, these are general readings. They're not going to apply the same for everyone who watches, and some of you not much at all. I mean, there's thousands of you watching, so it's not going to be the same for everyone watching. Check your rising and your moon sign as well. If you're like me, I would try to watch all three because I find that each of my signs gives me a different piece of the picture and applies in different areas of my life, so that by watching all three, you get a more whole and complete picture of the time frame that the readings cover. And it gives you as much information as possible. So try to check all three if you can. Thank you for continuing to watch and follow and listen and like and share my channel. Thank you and welcome to all of those who may be new to the channel. Thank you for the feedback, support, and comments. I do read them all. I can't, of course, respond to all of them because there's too many of them to respond to personally, but I do read each and every one. And I love reading how they specifically play out in your lives, particularly those of you who take the time to send those details via email. But I read all of them via email and the ones that you put on the video feedback itself. So thank you very much. You guys are awesome with the feedback and the comments. Keep those up. Thank you to those of you who continue to reach out for personal one-on-one readings, which I love to do. I'm always grateful for the trust that you place in me to interpret and intuit the cards for you. Thank you so very much for allowing me the opportunities to read for each and every one of you. Thank you also, a special thank you to my regular client. It's a delight to be part of the unfolding chapters of your life, and thank you for the regular updates that you send me as well. And if any of you are interested in a personal reading with me and you've not read with me before, you can click on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage, which will give you a little information in detail about myself, the services I offer, and my contact information. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. If you're interested, I would be delighted to work with you. I do readings full-time, 6 days a week, so I'm able to get back with you quite quickly and set up a reading within a fairly timely fashion. Current turnaround time is anywhere from a few days up until 2 weeks, but almost always within 2 weeks we can set something up for you. So if you're interested, send me an email and we will set something up. So moving right along, this reading is for Virgo for October 2016. Virgo, October 2016. God, Spirit, Angels, Guides, show me the energies for the Earth sign of Virgo for the remainder of October 2016. What do they need to see? What do they need to hear? What do they need to know about October 2016? Messages, feedback, advice, guidance. Any messages from Spirit for the Earth sign of Virgo regarding the remainder of October 2016? What do they need to navigate the rest of the month? Virgo, October 2016, mid-month. Okay, Virgo. We begin with the Two of Swords, followed by the Three of Swords. We have the Six of Swords, followed by the King of Cups. Okay. The Knight of Wands, followed by the Six of Cups. And at or towards the end of October, we have the Knight of Cups, followed by the Three of Pentacles. I feel like both of those knights are one and the same person. From the bottom of the deck, your crowning card representing overall energy and advice is the World card. Beautiful. Let me just take a quick look, Virgo. Okay, I'm going to start with your crowning card. Your overall energy and advice is the major arcana card, Fingers of the Divine, representing that divine energy coming in to help lead and guide us. The World card represents a sense of achievement. And again, so many of the signs for mid-month are kind of wrapping something up or in the final stages of wrapping something up and moving forward. A lot of you have been moving through, in a way, a struggle and a challenge and pain of some kind. And I'm feeling the same energy from you as well, Virgo. But you are at a place of achievement here, and it's something relating to the past. And for some of you, this could be the long ago past or the recent past, but you've reached a point of completion, of achievement, this month, particularly for the remainder of October 2016, because the World card is a card that represents a sense of achievement, kind of an ending point, and chapter closing and another chapter opening. But the sense of achievement that you feel is founded on bringing something to a close. And again, I feel like for a lot of you, it's the past, but I mean, if you're bringing something to a close, obviously it's from the past, but I feel like for some of you, it's a little older than the very recent past. Some of you, it may extend even back to childhood. It's been the case for a couple of signs this month as well. Healing from childhood wounds. You're feeling a sense of achievement. The analogy I like to use for the World card is that you've climbed a mountain, you've reached the top of a mountain, and this mountain is of particular significance. And it actually hits you while you're at the top of this mountain, this sense of completion, that you actually have completed it, uh, that you've made it. Even when there were times you probably didn't feel like you were going to make it, you kind of take a snapshot, look back at how far you've come. And all of a sudden, you realize actually how far you actually have come, how much you've achieved, what it took to get you to where you're at. And it's that sense of achievement, that sense of self acknowledgement and self awareness, not only of what you have accomplished, but of what you may yet be able to accomplish in your life. It's a card about taking an honest step back and really embracing you and the value of who you are and your strength and wisdom and insight that you've gained through everything that you've gone through. A beautiful sense of self acknowledgement and self empowerment, being kind of on top of the world, so to speak. And that is your crowning energy overall for the remainder of October 2016. And also advice from the universe to take the time out to actually do this. Acknowledge how far you've come, everything that it's taken. Uh, Give yourself a pat on the back, and really take the time to take a look at everything you've achieved, to ask yourself what you might yet be able to achieve, and try to acknowledge your strength and your value for the beautiful human being that you are. Overall advice. So I feel like you may have gotten stuck around the middle of the month, or perhaps a little bit before that, perhaps the first half of October 2016. You may have gotten stuck in not knowing what to do about some heartache or heartbreak, or had been in a place where you weren't willing to deal with something in front of you because you were afraid it was going to lead to heartbreak and heartache. Maybe an unhealthy relationship that you were afraid if you confronted something, that you would end up having to break up with somebody or end a relationship or situation. We have the Two of Swords followed by the Three of Swords. So Swords is a suit that rules our intellectual, cerebral world. It's governed by air, and it's all about how we think, our thoughts, perspectives, perceptions, belief systems, ideas, and words, how we communicate based on how we think. The Two of Swords is a card that represents feeling stuck, being at a crossroads, a decision needing to be made, a choice needing to be made, something which needs to be dealt with. But for some reason, at least up until now, you were unable or unwilling to deal with that. Your intuition, representing by the moon here, typically a lot of times when you see, always when you see the moon on a tarot card, it points to our deep subconscious, that intuitive sense of knowing. And I feel like underneath, even though you've been perhaps a little willingly blind to whatever the situation is, your intuition and your subconscious has still continued to kind of nag and pull at you. It's time to make a decision. It's time to take the blindfold off and face whatever it is that you've been unable or unwilling to face. Now, that Two of Swords is paired with the Three of Swords, which is a card that traditionally represents heartache, heartbreak. It can represent the breakup or ending of a relationship. It can sometimes represent a sense of betrayal in a relationship, sometimes with infidelity and cheating issues, as there is a triangular energy to these cards, and an unexpected energy because betrayal is not typically something we ever see coming. Um, and the story is going to split off a couple of different ways because there's so many of you watching. For some of you, this represents that you've been unable or unwilling to confront something that you kind of know under the surface in your subconscious, in your gut. Your intuition tells you it's something that you need to deal with, but you've been unwilling to do it because you're afraid that it's going to lead to heartbreak, heartache, or separation. You've kind of been turning a blind eye to it, but now is the time to deal with it. I feel like for a lot of you, this is something that you're already in the process of dealing with. For some of you, you've already experienced whatever the source of this heartbreak and heartache, this deep emotional pain is, and it's left you with the energy of the Two of Swords, feeling stuck. What do I do now? I don't want to do anything. I just kind of want to, curl up in a cave and isolate. I'm kind of feeling for some of you. But it is about needing to deal with it. And again, for a lot of you, I feel like you're already in the process of doing this. If you're not, it's a strong advice that you need to, because it's time to move through and away from um, this energy, which I feel you have the Six of Cups here too, which is the card about the past. I feel like this issue is kind of cobwebby for a lot of you, that it's been there for quite some time. It's time for the healing to begin now, because the source of the pain is over, the bottom has been reached, and it's time to begin that transitional, or you're beginning that transitional journey of healing. Because right next to that, we have the Six of Swords paired with the King of Cups. So the Six of Swords is a card. It's a transitional energy card. It represents beginning to move through the healing process. It represents the bottom of something having been reached, the worst being over. It's already happened. And this represents the healing process, the slow, kind of quiet, a little bit somber, but healthy healing recuperation process. It's transitional card representing here's where all the heartbreak and heartache happened, and here's the place where the healing is over. It's all completed. It's done. This is a card that represents that in between time where you're moving through the healing and recovery process. It's a beautiful energy, kind of again a quiet, more somber energy, but a healthy healing energy as well. The cautionary advice of the Six of Swords. Sometimes this is the never forget, never forgive card as well, because she is taking these Six Swords with her, representing whatever it is the source of this heartbreak or heartache is. It can represent a lack of being even, a lack of forgiveness. Forgiveness being more about our moving on than actually attached to the source of the pain or betrayal. Um, it can represent feeling just kind of closed down completely and guarded. Wherever you go, there you are. So these swords represents. Thoughts and feelings that she's taking with her as well, and lessons learned. And if lessons haven't learned or perspectives haven't changed, those are also accompanying her. So be vigilant that as you're moving through the recovery process, that you examine everything that you're taking with you on a mental and emotional level, and make sure that you're taking healthy things with you, lessons learned. It's not that there isn't, of course, pain involved, even still in the healing process, but the healthy kind of healing pain that lessens over time. As we're moving through this process, it's about letting go of harmful and negative things as well. Now, the Six of Swords is accompanied by the King of Cups. Cups is ruled by water. It's about that mercurial, fluid world of feelings, emotions, our emotional landscape. It's also about love and relationships, how we relate to people in the world around us, and what we do with our feelings. The King of Cups represents the energy of the King of Cups is about being emotionally stable. In other tarot decks, you can sometimes see this King of Cups sitting on his throne in a body of water, and all around him the water is very choppy and turbulent and somewhat chaotic, but he's sitting on his throne very cool and calm and serene, even when his external environment is not. He has maintained, he has that emotional stability. It's kind of like being in the middle of a seesaw or a teeter-totter. When you're on the outside of either end, you're kind of at the mercy of the elements, but when you're in the center, when you found your balance, it doesn't matter what's going on the external, you stay balanced, and you don't lose your footing. So the energy of the King of Cups with this healing energy, moving from these troubled, turbulent, chaotic waters into a smoother, more peaceful recovery time in your life from this heartbreak and heartache. It's about remaining emotionally stable during that as well. Now, for some of you, this is going to represent somebody who's moving through this process with you, or being a really good, solid, stable source of emotional support for you. Probably a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or someone who strongly manifests the character traits of the King of Cups: emotionally grounded, loving, supporting, nurturing, and there for you again to provide emotional support. It could be somebody that's a partner for you, love and romance, or in other ways too, best friend, family. Um, that the two of you went through this together, and you're both kind of healing through this together. Again, it's going to resonate differently in terms of the specifics, depending on who's watching, but the underlying energy remains the same. Now, right next to that, we have an interesting combination. We have the Knight of Wands accompanied by the Six of Cups. So, the Knight of Wands. Wands is ruled by fire, so it's a fiery, creative, action-oriented suit. Change, movement, action, power. It's about creating, building, manifesting careers, projects. But the emotions and the energy is passionate, creative, enthusiastic, fast-moving. Knights are the bringers, the deliverers of the tarot. They typically represent something being brought to you, an offering, or an opportunity. They can also represent the speed at which a situation is moving. But I feel like for a lot of you watching, this is actually an offer, and I feel like it's coming from a specific person, and I feel like that person is coming from your past. And it could be that this person was somehow the source of this original heartbreak or heartache, or somehow kind of caught up in that, and they're kind of coming back. It feels like for some of you, this represents a person who hurt you in the past, who's coming back to try and make amends or to try and reconcile. For some of you, it's just to apologize, make amends, and bring closure. For some of you, it's going to represent somebody from the past coming back to try to reconcile. And it feels like there was some heartbreak and heartache associated with them in the past, but it feels like they're coming with some kind of offer, and that they are coming from your past. Alternately, it could represent somebody who's helping you, somebody else who's helping you deal with your past in some way. But I'm feeling like for the majority of you, it's the person who's connected with this heartbreak and heartache from the past, and they're coming back in an attempt to make amends, to reconcile, something like that. And they're making an offer, presenting an opportunity for that. And it feels like a very impassioned kind of attempt or offer opportunity. And what you do with it, of course, is entirely up to you. That Knight of Wands is accompanied by the Six of Cups, which is a card of about the past. It's about reminiscence, nostalgia, looking backwards, childhood, happier times, basically about the past. It can, excuse me, also represent travel. Sixes can represent travel as well. You have two sixes in this spread, the Six of Swords and the Six of Cups. And sixes can represent problem solving, communication, cooperation with other people. You do have the compromise and negotiation with other people card here as well. So it could be that somewhere during the remainder of October 2016, maybe around the third week or so, time being somewhat fluid, you may be presented with the opportunity to put some closure to, or have somebody come and make amends or heal a situation that was the source of some considerable emotional pain in the past. It could be an ex-partner, lover, friend, family member, even work environment for some of you. But it looks like there's an opportunity to kind of perhaps work together on healing this or closing a rift. But again, it's an offer and an opportunity. We live in a free will zone, so you can choose to explore it or not to explore it. But it does feel like a very impassioned kind of offer or opportunity. It's almost as if somebody's coming back saying, "I am really, really sorry. Is there anything I can do to make it right?" or trying to reconcile. Now, excuse me, I'm just still at the tail end of this cold, but it's almost gone. Excuse my frogginess and coughing. So at or towards the end of October 2016, we have the Knight of Cups, accompanied by the Three of Pentacles. So the Knight of Cups, here's another offer opportunity, but I actually feel like it's just another descriptor. I feel like both of these knights actually are representing the same person. It could be Wands is governed by fire, which could represent Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. Knight of Cups is governed by water, which could be Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But I don't feel like it's two different people. I feel like it's one and the same person. And this offer, again, this opportunity feels very impassioned and very emotional as well, which is what the Knight of Cups would represent. Cups, ruling our emotional landscape and relationships with people. The challenge of the Knight of Cups, he's an idealist, kind of a poetic dreamer. If you were courted by the Knight of Cups, it would probably be in a very kind of old fashioned, romantic, idealistic sort of way. But in terms of making an offer, sometimes the challenge with the Knight of Cups is that he doesn't, he's so swayed and led by and guided by his emotions that he doesn't always have what it takes to kind of follow through with what he promises or the potential that he offers. So keep that in mind for those of you who are open to exploring or considering this offer or opportunity. Make sure that you kind of go into it with your eyes wide open. But I feel like these two knights are the one and the same person, and they're offering some kind of reconciliation or a desire to make amends. It feels like a sincere, impassioned, and emotional offer or asking. Um, but they may or may not have the ability to follow through with what they feel. It could be that they're just kind of caught up in the emotions. Again, and I feel it's somebody linked with pain from the past. So that Knight of Cups, it's the same offer. I feel like it's just kind of deepening it a bit as well. It's accompanied by the Three of Pentacles, which is a card of compromise and negotiation, trying to come to a meeting of the minds, maybe compromising and negotiating towards a common goal, which in this case would be healing of a relationship, or at least bringing closure to past pain, which perhaps has been kind of like an open wound for you for quite some time. And it looks like there's going to be an opportunity, or at least one offered. How realistic it is will have to be based on your own kind of evaluation of it. Some of you, and it feels like the remainder of October is playing out this way. It doesn't feel like for a lot of you a distinct choice or decision is reached. So this may continue to unfold into November as you reflect on it. Take some time to reflect on it for a bit. Yeah, but still a healing process overall, and moving through and away from a challenging time. Whether or not you accept this offer or opportunity in front of you, I feel like your healing process is going to continue nonetheless. If you're open to it, this working together to heal a rift, reconcile, or make amends can be a positive addition to your healing process and help speed it up. But again, I feel like that's going to continue whether or not you accept this offer or open yourself up to this opportunity or not, because again, consider your overall energy and advice, the World card. As advice too, in considering whether or not to reconcile with somebody, or you know, particularly if it's a reconciliation energy. The World card, remember, it's about acknowledging your own worth and value as a human being and how much you've accomplished, how far you've come. If the past pain and heartbreak was associated with somebody who made you feel a lack of that, make sure to be careful not to lose that sense of personal achievement and embracing of your own value and beauty on the way. For those of you who open yourselves up for this opportunity, make sure that what you compromise and negotiate on doesn't have anything to do with that, your sense of achievement or your own moral and ethical foundation. So, Virgo, that pretty much sums up the rest of your October readings. I hope you have enjoyed them, that you at least find them useful, that they perhaps have brought you a little insight and clarity. I thank you so very much for watching. And again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, click on that little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage for more information. And you can always email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be happy to work with you. And I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the November 2016 general readings. And until then, as always, Virgo, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.